Zoom recording. There we go. All right. So I was asked to stand in for Mvhayv Barnett today. She is at a function out of the area. So that's why you see me here today, but that's okay. Let's see. All right. Well, let me repeat that. I just now hit record. So these are the speakers and the Mvhayvs that you hear behind the scenes. You see a lot of the work on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube from Brandon Barnett and Jordan Squires, Mvhayv Squires. And like I said, these are the voices behind the scenes. And I just wanted to make sure that this is recorded so everybody can see this. That these are the ones you hear, and these are the ones, if we have any questions, we ask. And if you guys call up to the office, one of these will answer the question that you have. All right, like I said, my name's Desiree Emerton. Mvhayv Barnett is out of the area today. I will just show you some of the things that we cover in our classroom because I've started. A lot of the people that I've been teaching have started from the very beginning without knowing what words, Mvskoke words sound like. A lot of us have not grown up around the language, so it's really difficult to learn a language when you don't hear it very often. So we've started from the Mvskoke sounds like Mvhayv Barnett always talks about, which is the alphabet. We started from there, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have started from there as well. We started with the 2-letter syllable sounds, the 3-letter syllable sounds. So this is our first module. So like I said, we were going slow. We've gone to some vocabulary words, some fruits and vegetables, some colors, some foods. But today we are doing infinitives. And this is only 8 infinitives that you guys see because we've got a lot. I didn't want to overwhelm some of our new learners with too many infinitives, but these are the infinitives that we are learning this on this module. And I'm like I said, I'm just going to show you some of the things that we've been learning. All right, there was something. But before we start, I wanted to share with you one of the things that is on our Facebook. And I thought it was inspirational to hear some of this. I know people have asked for some of these things to be translated. So I found this on our Facebook page. So I'll let you take a look at it. And I think it's inspirational about the language.
Mvskoke, Imbonaga, Mvskoke, and Mvhayv. The main component of the Mvskoke tribe is language. Bonaga, Jimunga, Aye, make language a habit. Bonaga, Inhumfit, accept language. Bonaga, Andos moment on their identity. Bojanita, Inagijit. On the present. Nita o Jahanat, Ganothet, carry the future. Ganothet is carry on your back. Bufonange, Atapwijit, honor the past. Bikhamgit, Bonayas, speak bravely.
All right, those are some good words from Mvhayv Barnett. And that's one of the things that I wanted to show you guys is the reason why we do the language, the reason why we teach, the reason why behind it is our language has been dwindling and there's power in our language. Our ancestors spoke our language. So the connection is there when you speak the Mvskoke words. Also, I've heard somebody say that they wanted to learn our Mvskoke language, so whenever they go to the other side, they will be able to have a conversation with our ancestors. And I thought that was beautiful, just because you can speak to them and they can speak to you. It might change a little bit. I mean, because you know, you always hear about the old Mvskoke words, but I'm pretty sure that we could probably interact really good. Just like, you know, you can understand like old English, you know, it just sounds a little formal. So, but I thought that was beautiful that somebody was learning the language just so they can think about whenever they see their mother, their grandmother, and those who spoke the language, that they can sit and be there and speak with them. All right. So let's go ahead and go over the infinitive verbs. Like I said, I'm just going to give you an overview of what we've been learning. And these are only 8 of them. And we've learned conjugation from the first person, the second person, and the third person. And I will go over these, but let's start here. So let me go ahead and pronounce the Mvskoke words, and you can listen to it. And then I will start the PowerPoint, and you will see that we have a speaker who speaks it. So they're going to say it differently than I do because they've always spoken our language, and I'm still learning. So just like I said, I'm just going to go through and pronounce them for you, and then we will watch the slideshow. Hawithara, to stand. Ayada, to go. Ayada, to bathe. Nizada, to buy. Hombada, to eat. Eskada, to drink. Hijada, to see. Kethara, to learn. All right, let's go ahead and start the slideshow. All right, there you go.
Ayada. Ayada. Nisida. Ombeda. Iskida. Hijida. Githida.
All right. You can see how when I say it, it's a little bit different from how the first speakers. That's why I always try to put their words and their sounds onto the PowerPoint, because if I'm not here, and you can go onto the Google Drive, you can practice, you can learn, and you can say it right after they say it. All right. So I'm going to quickly show you guys, since you guys don't have this, these are the quick steps on how we learned it to conjugate. And the way I learned was completely different than the Mvhayvs that have learned all their lives growing up. I learned by steps and through college. And I'm here able to share that with the Mvhayvs. And when I share that with the Mvhayvs, a lot of them are like, I'm completely lost. I have no idea what you're talking about. But they've always heard the sounds. They've always heard the rules, but I don't think anybody actually ever sat them down and say, okay, this is the rule. This is step 1. This is step 2, because they just learned on the go. They just absorbed the language every day. So this is the steps that we went through to learn the language when I was at college. And it doesn't make sense to some of the speakers, but it makes sense to those who are learning, you know, pretty much from scratch. All right, so I have these are in my Google Drive for 22nd March. And it's gonna sound really like a lot, but once I show them to you, it will start to make sense. And you can also go into Google Drive, and if you want to take these notes, you're free to take the notes and look at them. Some people may not be able to follow along or understand this, but that's okay, because we don't all learn the same way. Like I said, this is how I learned, and this is how a lot of other people learn. I say, okay, so we are going to do the present tense, simple sentence present tense conjugation of the infinitives that we just went over. So step 1, and I'll just go over this, and then I will show you what these steps look like. Step one, you drop the ETB to get the verb stem of the infinitive. Step two, you L-grade the verb stem, you lengthen the final vowel of the verb stem. If the final vowel is a V, change it to an A, unless it's followed by MK, NK, or T. If it is, leave the V. The rest of the vowels get a long mark over it. L in L grade means lengthen, so you lengthen the vowel of the verb stem. L grade shows the tense. Okay, step three, add the person marker, I, it, or nothing. And like I said, I will show you this and it will start to make sense. But right now, we're just going over the rules. So the person marker shows who is doing the action. The first person is represented by I. The second person is represented, it's means you. The third person does not have a designation, anything. It's just blank, and you just kind of have to assume that that's the third person. So the third person does not have a marker. So in my notes, I put this little symbol here. So you can see that something is there. And for those of us who have to go in steps, these are like, I tell my students, these are like training wheels. We're learning how to do something. And for those of us like on long math, some of you guys have to do step by step, and some of you guys can go from step one to the end. I'm one of those ones who have to go from step one to the end. So on my notes, I put this symbol, or you can put open and close parentheses. So there, no person marker means the third person. And it's literally translated he, she, they, or it in the singular, because we are only doing module one with the singular. They can mean many or one, but when we use it, we do they, we put it SNG for we know that it's singular. And number four, add the declarative ending S or ES. These declarative endings are periods, and they also mean am, are, and is. And so let me show you what it looks like step by step here. So these are the rules, step by step. Hayeda. To make. From the rules that I just showed you, I'm going step by step. You drop the ETB to create the verb stem. So this is the verb stem. A is the final vowel, so you put a long mark over it. I was told that the long mark just means a lengthen, so you just kind of hold it a little bit longer, but when it comes to the E, it does change the sound of the E from the I to the E sound. All right, here you add the person marker. Since this is first person, we are adding the I because it is the first person. And right here, we are adding the declarative ending, which is am, are, is, and I was told it also means the period of the sentence. So I am really visual, so I do a lot of things in color to help keep myself straight. If you've seen my notes in college, I had all different color pens, highlighters, because that helped me. I'm really visual. I know a lot of our native people are visual, so that's why I went ahead and continued it onto the slides. So you see the verb stem right here in red. You see the person marker because we are talking about I, and you see the declarative ending S. The reason why we don't put ES is because we don't want to create a diphthong, which is two vowels together. If it was, if there was no I there, if it was just HAY, we would add the ES. But since the person marker is I, we put an S. And here is the final word. So we went from Hayeda to make to Hayes. I am making. And I will show you another slide that breaks it down even further if I can find it here. All right, I guess I didn't make that one into a slide. Let me go ahead and show you another example here. Iskada, to drink. There you go. All right. To drink, iskada. Drop the ETB and create the verb stem. There's the verb stem. And according to the rules that I just posted, is E is the final vowel, so that's why we put a long mark over the E, so it means E. It, like I said, only on the E's does it change, iskeda, iskeda. And there you add your person marker I. You add your declarative ending am, are, is. It also means the period in the sentence. That's one of the reasons I put that note there is because I kept getting marked off in college for not putting the period for the end of the sentence. Right there's the verb stem in red, your person marker, your declarative ending, am, are, is, and the period, iskes. So you go from to drink, iskeda, iskes. I am drinking. And this is the one I was telling you about. I broke it down again. I keep repeating because sometimes it takes a lot of repetition for some of us to catch on to what's happening and what's going on. So you can see the literal translation is drinking. There's a person marker, I. And then the declarative ending, am. And there should be a period there. Drinking, I am. So the Mvskoke word translation is iskes. Mvskoke word translation, that's how we got from iskeda. The literal translation is drinking, I am. And the English translation is I am drinking. To me, it was exciting when I was learning these steps because now I can understand what each part of this sentence, and that's what it is a sentence. Each part of this is. Otherwise, they're just kind of, I'm not very good at just memorizing and saying, okay, this is how it is. So I work better with the rules. So you can see this word and now you know drinking, I am. Here's another example. Hitch it up. To see, drop the ETB, you got your verb stem. E is the final vowel, so you lengthen it and you put the mark over it. Right here, you add the person marker, I. You add the declarative ending, am, are, is, and period with the S. See, the reason why we didn't put the ES is because there is an I there. You see the verb stem in red, the person marker, the declarative ending, and the period. He just. So you went to see, to I am seeing. Does anybody have any questions on that? Is that something completely different from what you learned? Does that make any sense to anybody? Because like I said, I've learned because I haven't heard our Mvskoke language so much when I was growing up. So I had to take a different route to learn the language. All right, this is very helpful, Mado. All right, Inga, Mado. And like I said, I learned this way, and let's see. I don't know if you guys remember, but I showed you the book that we had taken this information out of. See if I can find it. But this is taken out of the Mvskoke Creek sentence structure book. And it's if you've ever read that, it is a hard read, but it is really a lot of information. If I can find the drive that I have that on. I think it was. There it is. This is the book that has a lot of the notes that we've gone over today. So if you guys take a look at that, or you want to go look at it a little bit further, this is the book that has the notes on L grading and all the rules that we just went over. It has a lot of information for our Mvskoke sentences and language. it is, like I said, a hard read. I think it's really technical, and you have a lot of language in there. So those of you who are looking at to expand your knowledge, that's a good book to look at and to study. There's also the dictionary that you see everybody have. It's the green dictionary. This Google. That's a Google Drive. Sometimes she works and sometimes she wants to be a little difficult. And then sometimes she moves things on us. That's just kind of how it's going on here. No. All right. Anyways, the green dictionary, I can't seem to find it right now, but that is where I get a lot of this information from. Plus, when I was in college, they broke it down a little bit easier, like I'm doing here for you guys right now.
Mvhayv, as you know, I've been in both the classes and I love this breakdown. It has been extremely helpful. Combining it with the other class, it's just been a perfect complementary experience. So, Mado.
Oh, Inga, thank you. Thank you for commenting, because we love to hear that, you know, I can be a part of the puzzle. You know, Mvhayv Barnett is a part of the puzzle, Mvhayv Stephen, and all the other Mvhayvs, Mvhayv Gracie, Mvhayv Philip, Mvhayv Carolyn, Mvhayv Judy, Mvhayv Jordan, Mvhayv Eli. You know, we all get together and we try to figure out the best and easiest way to show you guys. And this, for me, what I learned in college was the easiest for me to grasp on, because I'm not the person who just can sit there and remember everything. You know, this is the word for this. For this first person, this is this. For the second person, for the third person. I have to go by steps. And Mado, I'm glad. Yes, all the classes complement each other. All right, and that's when I went to college. I went to College Mvskoke Nation, CMN. I also went to Oklahoma City, one of the colleges, to learn Cree. So I learned in all of my classes, just like you guys are learning here from me, and you learn from Mvhayv Barnett, and you learn from all the other Mvhayvs. So that's why I put at the beginning all the pictures of the people who are behind the scenes, or who you don't see.
Mvhayv,
Okay.
Since I already speak the language fluently, and I know how to use those ending terms when I need, when I need to change it and things like that. But, as I have said before, my problem is that I can't read and I can't write it. And so getting to see these ending sounds, written in black and white, that helps me, because this way then it'll help me further along when I want to write. When I want to write whatever message I want to send. And it's just because I've never been exposed to, the written language. And when I did, and I look at it now, it's different, And so, like I said, I understand it and I know what you're saying, but just being able to see that high S, and see it written, then I understand it now. It helps me to read and helps me to be able to write it.
Right, Mado.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for letting me know, and that makes me feel good, because like I said, when I talk to the other Mvhayvs, they're like, okay, I'm done. That's not how I learned, which is fine, but this is how I learned, and I think this is how just a little step into learning the language. Reading is a bit interesting. I can find 2 different Mvskoke spellings of the same words. Yeah, that's one of the things, is we were talking about that today. You can look at the new readers, or the readers that were made a long time ago, and you see some letters in there that we don't have in our Mvskoke alphabet, but somebody was just phonetically, or just trying to sound it out. I've heard about people talk about other classes, this is biddable to observe, like this one. Yes, there should be, they should be on the YouTube video. This is week 5 that we have that we are on this. So it should be there. If not, you can call up to the office and see. The link is on Instagram. Okay, but like I said, this helps me, and I know it seems really repetitive, but that's how you learn. So let's go to Kethra. To learn, to know, you drop the ETV, you lengthen the final vowel, you add your person marker, you add the am, are, is, and S, and also means the period. So you see your verb stem in red, you see your person marker in blue, you see the declarative ending, am, are, is. So we went from Kethra to Keithis. So we went to learn to I am learning. So that, to me, I thought that was exciting because I could see going forward in my knowledge slowly. And like you said, I might know something a little bit more, but now I get to see what things mean. This was exciting to me right here. You know, because this whole, keep this whole thing is a sentence. It's not just a word, but it's a whole sentence. And this is broken down to where you can see learning, I am. So you know what each little part means. And to me, that's exciting because I'm like, oh, I understand now. Because I know when I was asking like my elders in my family, what is this? And they would just say something. So I would just repeat it, not knowing that it's a complete sentence or a complete thought. So the translation from Keithis is, or for Kethra is Keithis. You've got the Mvskoke word here, the literal translation, learning I am, and the English translation to I am learning. And I know that I've said this in some of my other classes, and I may have said it here, but when you look at the literal translation to English, learning I am, always you have Yoda that comes to mind. Yoda, I always say Yoda speaks Mvskoke, Yoda is Mvskoke. You know, some people don't know that, but so, you know, that's how he speaks, learning I am. But that's just a piece of humor that I always like to think about. Oh, Yoda, you know, Yoda, my man, you know. So my daughter always makes me laugh. She's like, Mom, you're just too goofy. But, you know, I told her, I was like, I'd rather be goofy when nobody's watching or when people are watching than to sit there and just be upset or defeated or depressed. So I always have to pick myself up. And I think that's a Stijadia Indian, a native trait, is to pick yourself up because our ancestors have been through a lot and we're here because of them. So one of the things another thing that I've told my daughter is that artist who made the picture of the native riding on the horse and he's all bent over and he's like giving up, and I don't like that. I don't want people to see, and this is my personal opinion, I don't want people to see that and think about our native people because yes, this happened. Yes, we went through that, but we are here. We are lawyers, we are doctors, we are teachers. You know, we didn't give up. That was just a tough time. And I'm sure because my some of the elders that I've talked to is they've got some humor, and it's like, if you don't laugh and you're feeling so bad, then you're going to have to cry. So while you're going to cry, make yourself laugh and be happy of you're breathing today, you're walking today, you know. And one of the things that I always tell my kids is, you know, it's a good day. You know, when on my birthday, I'm like, I was talking to them, I feel so excited because some of my family haven't gotten to this point. They're not with us any longer. And my daughter told me, oh, Mama, you're leveling up. So I guess that's my new word, is I'm leveling up. So I'm, you know, getting a next level for each birthday. So I like to think of it, I'm leveling up, you know.
Mvhayv,
Okay.
when you were talking about Yoda, years ago when Yoda, the first one, came up in the Star Wars series, and he was talking, and my youngest son, he would mimic him and he could talk. And he learned it. He learned how to talk like Yoda does. And when I explained to him at that time, because he was like, I don't know, 10, 12, whenever Star Wars came out. And so he was just talking and talking, and I'm like laughing because I said, now if you could say all of those words in Creek, then you would be able to speak Creek fluently without a problem, because that's the way he was talking. He was talking just like Yoda.
Well, that's cool, you know, and I didn't know our language back then, but as I've grown up and I've seen that and I've heard that, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a connection there. Because when I watched, my husband loves to watch that. When I watch it with him, I'm like, look, there's Yoda, and I get all excited, and I was like, he's speaking Mvskoke. But yeah, that's a cool way for our young ones to learn is, oh, you can speak like Yoda, you know, in the Mvskoke way, because he speaks Mvskoke. But that's cool. I like these, like I said, I like to pick myself up because I'm like, I'm still here. Our ancestors walked the trail for us to be here, and they went through so much. And I learned a lot of history in going to college to learn our language and to learn about our people. And, you know, reading that, it will make you upset and you will cry. But, it's not a lot of good things, you know, on you know, the trail and everything. But you know, we've overcome, we're still here, you know, and to learn our language is exciting because that's something that was trying to be eradicated, but we are here learning it and we are still able to learn it. So that's, to me, is a power of, woo, you know, we are still here. All right, so that was the first person. So let's go to the second person. Oh, let me go ahead and show you this, our simple sentences. And these are some of our, I made these sentences with our vocabulary words. So these are words that we have learned. Yeah, our ancestors made the decision to remove and save their culture and became Trail of Tears. Then we went through the Civil War, which split us even more. Yeah, we're still here. All right. So these are the vocabulary words that we had to use from. And these are our infinitives, and it's in the first person. So I will read it, and you can see, and I always like to put the translation because there was nothing more frustrating to me when I was learning our language to learn a phrase but not know what I'm saying. You know, just say, somebody say, oh, that means this. And then you talk to somebody else and they're like, oh, well, that means this. And you're like, wait, what did I just say? So I always like to put the English translation right next to it. So right here is Mvskoke chugo ayes. I am going to church. Daklegi hayes. I am making bread. Wagabishi daklegi hayes. I am making cheese. Like I said, these are our vocabulary words. So that's where I'm getting all these words. I'm trying in my classes to not cover something or put something on here that we haven't learned, because it gets kind of frustrating. I know everything except that word, yeah. So Mvskoke afki hayes. I am making great dumplings. And if you see the other day, Mvhayv made Mvskoke afki, and it was good. I do have a recipe for great dumplings I will share. Probably in one of my classes, but I got it out of one of the books that the language department had, I guess, put together several years ago. All right. Hilokwa nises. I am buying gum. Pinwa nises. I am buying turkey. Aji nises. I am buying corn. Dakle Salmoski home base. I am eating fried bread. Chadahaga home base. I am eating blue bread. Abuski iskis. I am drinking corn drink. Wagabizi iskis. I am drinking milk. Tolozi hijas. I am seeing chicken. Ido hijas. I am seeing a tree. Woglegida hijas. I am seeing a chair. Mvskoke Opanaga Kites. I am learning Mvskoke language. Woo! So you guys got the whole sentence right there. You got the whole thing. So if somebody asks you something, I am learning Mvskoke Opanaga Kites. So that is one of our infinitive verbs, ketera, to learn, to know. So you know how to answer that question, or just put it out there. I have one I can post, wrote it out. Okay, if you want to post it into the chat, everybody would be willing to see it, and maybe we can all be making our Mvskoke afki. All right, let's see. So now, we're running out of time. Now we're going to two-person, the second person translation. This is also going from the first notes that I showed you. The only thing on our notes, here we go. Now, the only thing on our notes that change, okay, here's the simple sentence notes. If you see step 3 right here, that's the only thing that changes in the simple sentence present tense. We've got the I, because we're talking about I, the person. And then you got the it's, and we're talking about you. And you've got the placeholder, which is this symbol or close parentheses for my notes. If you don't need that, you don't have to put it. But that's why I put that there, is for the placeholder for the third person. And you've got the declarative ending S or ES and the period. All right, okay. I know Google's gonna be a little cranky. All right, let's go through this again. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. Simple sentences. Oh. Try to get back to the one I was at. Here it goes. Hombida, first person, second person, second person. All right. Okay, here's the third person. Sorry, my notes are a little jumbled right now. I had everything open, but like I said, sometimes Google is being a little, I always say a little chicken bone, but she's being a little difficult. All right, here we go. Hombida. So as we go through our notes, now we went from first person, we're at the second person. Hombida, to go. You drop the ETV, creates the verb stem. This is your verb stem. O is the final vowel. That's why the O has a long mark on it. And here, this is the only thing that changes in our notes, is we were talking about you. And and all of a sudden, I mean, it is singular, you. So that's when we add the it's, ETSK, as the person mark, because we're talking about second person, you. This one, you see, it's got the K at the end and there's no vowel, so we add the ES. The declarative ending am, are, is, and period. So we went from hombida. Oh, sorry. That's to eat, not to go. Hombida, to eat. So just scratch that out. It's to eat. To hombitskis. And I know that's a mouthful, because I know it's a mouthful for me too. If you need to break it down, hombitskis. You can break it down even further if you need. So here's your verb stem, home. Here's your person marker, it's. And here's your declarative ending, am, are, is. It also means period. And here's your word, hombitskis. Okay, so, Christy put the grape dumplings into our chat. If you guys are excited and go over there and copy it, that'll be great. If you can overnight some here, I'd be happy. As long as it was good. You make sure it's all packaged good and everything. All right. So you've got, let's see if I can find the other one. All right, so that's your second person. And like I said, we're going a little fast because of time. This was done in 5 weeks. So this is 5 weeks in 1 hour. Okay, the first person simple sentence. Mvhskoke chugo ayetskis. You are going to church. Doklegi Hayitskis. You are making bread. Waga busy Doklegi Hayitskis. You are making cheese. Patko Aki Hayitskis. You are making great dumplings. Hilokwa Nezitskis. You are buying gum. Finwa Nezitskis. You are buying turkey. Aji Nezitskis. You are buying corn. Doklek Sakmovki Hobitskis. You are eating fry bread. Tadahaga Hombitskis. You are eating blue bread. A busky Iskiskis. You are drinking corn drink. Okay, you see, when I was doing this, it kind of got a little discombobulated. Waga busy Iskiskis. You are drinking milk. Tolozi Hijitskis. You are seeing chicken. Ido Hijitskis. You are seeing a tree. Oplegida Hijitskis. You are seeing a chair. You are seeing a chair. But Mvskoke Opanaga Ketitskis. You are learning Mvskoke language. All right. Yes, Mado, Christy, for posting that. And I will let you hear this whenever we get to that part right now. I know I put it on there now if I can find it. Like I said, sometimes Google hides things. All right. So that is the second person. We are going to run through this and we will go through the third person. So using the same notes, like I said, the only thing that changes is the person marker. So hombida, and that means to eat, not to go. So just change that. All right, okay. All right. And you drop the ETV to create the verb stem. There's your verb stem. O is the final vowel. You lengthen the O. And right here, you see right here is the person marker. And you see in my notes, there's no marker for third person. So this is where I put the symbol right here at the end. And that just keeps me on track when I'm conjugating. Once you get used to conjugating, you can just, take that marker out and But until then, I wanted to show that is another step. Right here, you add a declarative ending, am, are, is in period, which is es. And this is what we get right here, the verb stem. Oh, my arrow's moving around. You got the verb stem right there in red. In blue, you've got your person marker. There's no person marker for the third person. But that is our placeholder, remember that. The ES is the declarative ending, am, are, is, and period. And this is what it looks like without that marker. So whenever you see that and you don't see the I, or you don't see right there, you don't see an I, or you don't see it's, it's a third person, which is he, she, it, or they in the singular. All right, does that make sense? All right, I haven't made the recipe. Good luck. All right. All right, trial and error, Okay. So here, let's see. All right. Let's go ahead and go through it again, just to make sure. Iskada, to drink. You drop the ETV and creates the verb stem. You got the E, you put the long mark over it because it's the final vowel. Here, you see that I made a different symbol, like I said, the parentheses, just to know that that's the person marker. So either or you don't have to add it, but that's my own personal, make sure that I get the person marker. And then you add the ES, the declarative ending, because you see that there's a K, you add the ES, not just the S. And S also means the period of the end of the sentence. So right here's your verb stem. Right here is your placeholder for nothing. He, she, he, it, they in the singular. That's your person marker. And then you've got your ES, am, are, is, period. Like I said, that's why I put the person marker in there, so you don't miss a step. But when you get more proficient at it, you can not add that if you don't like. But this is our final word. Iskis. Home base, I eat, home bitskis, you eat, home base. She, yeah. Yes, that's exactly right, Brendan and Christy. That's exactly it. So this is, it goes from to drink, iskita, to iskis. I, or you, or she, well, it's not I, she, he, it, they are drinking. All right. And this is the other like I said, I break it down more than once. So here, you know what that part means now. Drinking. You know that he right here is symbolized by the close parentheses because that's just a placeholder. There's nothing there. So you know that he, she, it, they, and then you got is. He, she, it, they is drinking. So Mvskoke is iskis. Literal translation is drinking, he is. I just put he, you can put she, you can put it, you can put they. He is drinking. And one of the things we were talking about is a lot of people don't use they or it, but that is included in the third person, singular. If you see a kitten over there and it's drinking something, you put it is drinking, or just something like that. It doesn't mean it's always going to be a person. So that's where that would come in. Christine, I think the O lengthens to an oo sound, whereas the infinitive is a short oo sound. Yes, that's what lengthen. All right. Let's see. All right, so we've got about 10 minutes. Trying to see. Okay, let me go to this. These are our third person simple sentences. And you can see that I put all the notes out there. You can do this or that, or you can do nothing. But right here, Mvskoke chugo is right here. Or when you're doing your when you're writing, you can use the placeholders. Like I said, these are the placeholders I use. That's why I put it on there, because in my notes you will see either or, and I'm not personally to that part yet. I'm getting there. I'm almost there where I don't have to use a placeholder. But you see that I put because I have my notes. I don't want you to get confused, but that is my placeholders. And so this is the final version without the placeholders. Mvskoke chugo is. She's going to church. Same thing with this one. Doc lady. I use. He is making bread. So instead of he, you could put she, he, it, they, instead of he. I'm just choosing, since I'm making the sentence, who I'm talking about. Is it a he? Is it a she? Is it a it? Is it a they? And I will go, I'm just going to skip some of this. You can see it. It's also on the Google Drive. And this is where they would come in. Hilokonisis. They are buying gum. They're like, oh, well, where's Amy? They're buying gum. And something like that. It's not saying, it's an it or anything, but, they're buying gum.
Mvhayv,
Yes, go ahead.
go back up to a couple of sentences. No, far. Okay, that's good. That's good. Cheese, is that how you say it? Waga busy duck leggy?
Yes. It's
That's
very-
how cheese is said?
yes, welcome.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's like I said, I'm using all of our vocabulary words because I like to use different vocabulary words because we're not going to be able to talk to each other if we don't know what we're trying to say. And that's why I'm really heavy into vocabulary when I do my lessons, because how can I talk to you about cheese if we don't even know the word for the cheese? So,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Ella, just a question. Have you heard the different way that you say cheese, Ella?
did you hear his question, Ella?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, uh-uh.
said, have you had, do you know different ways to say cheese in Mvskoke?
No, no. I'll have to think about it. I probably have heard it, but yeah, I don't process very fast, so it'll come to me.
Hear you.
Yeah, just like when we were doing Wild and Tame, Becky was coming up with certain words, and I was coming up with words that I had heard as a child. Yeah, and they weren't the same. They were different, and so I'm thinking that's what he's thinking about too. And but my youngest son, the one that I was talking about, it was interesting when his son was born, and I was trying to get him to start drinking his milk, and I said "Wagabizi ishkasje," and so they were busy with his mother, and so while I was trying to feed the baby and give him I got to give him his first bottle, and so "Wagabizi ishkasje," and so finally the doctor said, "What is she telling him?" And so then my son turned around and was listening to what I said. "Mom, how do you say milk?" Because he knew the words, but he didn't know that was the words for milk. And anyway.
Christine said that she has the word for little girl instead of hoktoji. Janina?
Yes, Chanina, that's the way I learned it. Chanina and Chobani's little boy and little girl.
Oh, okay, I've never heard that. That's interesting.
It's just, oddball thing.
Well, I know one of the, somebody said, I've heard a Creeklish version, Chiska, but Wagabizi Doklegi is proper. Okay, that's from Cassandra. So like you said, there's some things that we learned growing up. I've always said chishi for mouse. And when I went to school, I see it says chissy. But I'm also Seminole, so I don't know if chishi is Seminole and chissy is Creek. Yeah, it's one of those things I'm still learning. So that's exciting. And then
Jesse for us was Creek.
Yeah,
Jesse.
that's where I learned chissy. But I always said chishi.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if that's a Seminole thing or it's just one of those things where, it was passed down and, I don't know. Because the grammar book uses IPA International Phonetics. I sounds like E and feet, not the same sound as, yeah, I know that was, you go through a lot of different books and a lot of resources when you're trying to learn and teach. So you kind of just have to go with what makes sense to you or what you've always heard, because not all of the people who are writing these books are native. So you got to remember that. So they're not coming at it with a native mind or even a native tongue. Classical singing background puts everything in IPA and that isn't even standardized. Yeah. So Ella, what you were talking about is, or Christy, is the changes, the different words. I've always learned when I was growing up and my kids were little, I'm like, let's go to Hitchcock, which means the movies. Let's go to the Hitchcock. Let's go to the movies. And they're like, okay, so we always learned Hitchcock. And finally I asked my mom, I'm like, what does that mean? She goes, moving pictures. Because there's not a word for movie. Let's go to the movies. And so she just, and I don't know if this is across the board, but she just said moving pictures. And the same thing with like the airplane. She would say, oh, look, it's, now I forgot it.
Betodanga.
Betodungo.
Betodanga.
I said, what's Betodungo? And she goes, it's flying ship. So these are some of the things that I haven't really seen, but I know that I've learned. So,
and just like you use the word for vehicle or car, you use the word automate. We used to say Dalitska. Dalitska.
Okay. I've never heard of that. All right. So let me, since we're at the end of our hour, Christy, where'd you find the book? Is it easy to find on Google or Kristen? Well, the book that I showed you earlier, I know it's on Amazon. They've got it at the Red Stick Gallery here in Okmulgee. They also have to have it at the Seminole Nation Museum. So you can find, yeah, it is expensive. I'm not gonna say it's not, it's expensive. Oh, that one, the first reader. Okay, she's talking about the first reader. All right. But the one I showed earlier, the Creek language and the Senate, that one is over here at the Red Stick Gallery in Okmulgee. And Mvhskoke, it's at the Seminole Museum. You can also get it on Amazon. It's like $75+ but it's good information. All right, so let me go ahead and play these for you. So you've heard how I pronounce everything. You've heard how I've said everything. I've got our first speaker saying the sentences we just went over, so you can hear the differences. These are on our Google Drive. This is under my name, and it has the date of, let's see, I think it's got April the 5th, because that's my next class. So let me play this for you so you can hear it before our hour is up.
Amigos of the Tues, ayes. Tagalegi, ayes. Wagabisi, Tagalegi, ayes. Pasko Aki, ayes. Ilokwa, nieces. Binwa, nieces. Aji, nieces. Tagalegi, Sakmoski, umbes. Chadahaga, umbes. Abaski, iskes. Wagabisi, iskes. Tolosi, iches. Ido, iches. Uklegida, iches. Mvskoke, ubunaga, githes.
All right, you see the differences? I mean, we're all still trying to get that sound. So that's why I put these on here so you guys can hear the first speaker speaking. All right, here's the second person, simple sentence.
Mvskoke, ayes. Tagalegi, ayes. Wagabisi, Tagalegi, ayes. Pasko Aki, ayes. Ilokwa, nieces. Benwa, nieces. Aji, nieces. Taglek Sakmoski, umbitskis. Chadahaga, umbitskis. Abaski, iskitskis. Wagabisi, iskitskis. Tolosi, ijitskis. Ido, ijitskis. Oklegida, ijitskis. Mvskoke, ubanaga, ijitskis.
All right, and our last one is the third person. And you can see the differences in the format. And so whenever you see that it doesn't have an I or an it's the third person for he, she, it, or they. All right, here we go.
Mvskoke, ayes. Tagalegi, ayes. Wagabisi, Tagalegi, ayes. Pasko Aki, ayes. Ilokwa, nieces. Benwa, nieces. Aji, nieces. Taglek Sakmoski, umbis. Chadahaga, umbis. Abaski, iskis. Wagabisi, iskis. Tolosi, iji. Edo, ages. Oplegida, ages. Mvskoke, Obanaga, ages.
All right, so that's our presentation today. Does anybody have any questions? Did that help anybody?
No, but Mvhayv, real quick, my granddaughter Tyree is going, Tyree is going to be contacting you. She wants to start taking lessons. She's been doing a little bit on her own, so how much she knows, I don't know. But anyway, but she can sing the Creek Hallelujah. But anyway, so she's going to be contacting you to join your class.
Well, thank you for, letting me know that this has helped because, like I said, until you guys let us know, we don't know if we're on the right track. We don't know if, okay, helped a lot. But, all right. And like I said, this is how I learned and I have to go step by step. This is not how a lot of our first speakers learn. So they get a little, I don't know what you're doing. And they're just like, but, like I said, we all work together. We're trying to reach as many people as we can for our language. And we want it to continue. So like Miss Ella said, if you have any questions, just call up to the front desk and, they'll answer your questions. If you need anything, just let us know. All right. It's a great thing keeping the language alive. All right.
Let's
All right.
Jay Mvhayv. That's one of the best classes. One of the best classes so far. That was excellent. Bravo. See y'all next week.
I'm Gigi, please. You guys have a good day.
Chị chào chắc cả gì.
Hello.